Hello. In this video, we're going to talk about factoring by grouping. Okay. So typically when you deal with factoring or you're supposed to do a factoring problem, you're given a polynomial expression. So consider the following polynomial: 44x cubed plus 55x squared. Okay, so when the question requires you to factor, you have to compare these two terms, this one and this one, to figure out what are the common factors between these two terms and how you can pull them out. So one way to look at it is to separate the numbers from the variables, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and highlight the 44 and the 55. And first I'm going to think about, okay, well, what are the factors common to 44 and 55? Well, 44 can be split into 4 and 11 because 4 times 11 gives you 44, and 55 is 5 and 11, right? So therefore, the factor that's common to both of these is the 11. So that's a common factor. So now I can next look at the x cubed and the x squared. And by inspection, I can see or if I kind of, try to kind of think of the x cubed and the x squared, x cubed is nothing but x times x times x. And x squared is x times x. So clearly, two of the x's are the common ones, right? So if I combine the two x's, so I can say that, x squared is common, and out here x squared is common, and that x squared is multiplied with the x. So therefore, I'm going to pull this 2 out. Okay, so now if I take the 11 and the x squared and pull them out, what is left behind? So if I pull out 11x squared from the 44x cubed, I have, let's go ahead and pull out the 11x squared. Let's write that as 11x squared. And what I'm going to have left is 4, right? The 4, and then x, 4x. And then if I pull out 11x squared from 55x squared, I'm only going to have 5 left over. So 4x plus 5. And since I have these two from this term and this term, I'm going to just wrap them in a parentheses. And essentially, what I did out here is I factored out 11x squared from the 44x cubed plus 55x squared. And when I did that, that's where the 11x squared shows up, and then what's left behind is put in parentheses. Okay, so let's take a look at another problem. Okay, so this one looks a little different, but the process is the same. Okay, 2xy minus 8y plus 3x minus 12. Okay, so now, as you can see, there's an even number of terms. Okay, even number of terms. And whenever you see an even number of terms, think of grouping them in pairs. Okay, so we can imagine that to be a pair and that to be a pair. Okay, so I'm going to take the first pair and I'm going to put that in parentheses. So 2xy minus 8y, put that in parentheses. And then I'm going to take the second pair and put that in parentheses. There you go. And I separate them with the positive sign in between. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out common factors, just like we did in the previous one. So out here, you can see that the y is common to both. And then if I pull 2 out, if I pull 2 out of the 8, so basically if I divide the 8 by 2, I'm left with 4. So let's go ahead and pull those out. 2y. If I pull 2y out of the first expression, I'm left with x. If I pull 2y out of 8, I'm left with 4. Okay, now let's take a look at the second two terms. Out here, the only thing that's common is the 3, because if I pull 3 out from here, I'm left with x. If I pull 3 out of 12, meaning you take 12 and divide it by 3, I get 4. So I write the 3 out, and then I take x minus 4, leave that in parentheses. Now, usually in most factoring, whenever you do factoring, it's common to find that the term in the first parentheses, after you factor the common terms out, it matches the second parentheses, okay? So that's very common. These should match, okay? And if they do, if they match, that means that's like a check to yourself. You are on the right track, okay? And if they don't match, if they do not match, then usually that means that the way you're going about it is incorrect. So you want to go back and check your steps. All right. So once these matched, so the best way to go about it is you write the x minus 4 one time, and then you take the 2y and plus 3. Let me use a different color for that. You take the 2y and the plus 3, and you put that in parentheses right beside the first parenthesis. So times 2y plus 3. That's how you do it. So there's your second parenthesis, and there's your first, okay? Okay, let's do another one. This one, I recommend you pause the video and try to do it yourself. And then if you can unpause the video and then take a look at the solution. So 6y squared plus 9y plus 4xy plus 6x. Go ahead and pause, and then you can take a look at the solution once you give it a shot. All right, so the way you want to solve this, again, you split them in pairs. So I'm going to put a parenthesis around the first two. Then I'm going to put a parenthesis around the second two. Now I'm going to pull factors out of the first parentheses. So factors common to 6 and 9 is 3, and then you have the y common as well. So let's pull 3y out. That leaves me behind with 2y for the first term, and then if I pull 3y out of the 9y, I'm left behind with 3. And then in the second expression, I can pull the x out, and then I can pull 2 out, because 2 is common to 4 and 6. So 2x times. So what's left behind is 2y plus 3. Okay, so now, as we said previously, if you did everything right, then the parentheses should match this, which indeed it does. That means we're on the right track. So I'm going to write that expression first in a parentheses, and then the remaining 3y plus 2x I'm going to put in the parentheses right beside it. And there you have it. That's the end of the story. Okay, I hope you enjoyed watching this. I will continue in the next video.